What if everything you know about history is a complete lie? Newly discovered evidence challenges 1200 years of our past. Ancient glowing portals reveal a forbidden quantum technology. This incredible discovery proves history was deliberately compressed. The true scale of this global psychological operation will shock you. Stay to uncover the most jaw-dropping historical deception ever revealed. In 2025, divers plunged into the Black Sea's inky abyss. Vembless Wuskov reversing into belonged to Sweden so we the sea himself. Kalsmidintus and Amazapid wings upon some intermission in Kamercord and Lanchon Phantomal Thinker. Their powerful lights cut through darkness, illuminating ancient quarries. These quarries were carved with impossible, almost surgical precision. Submerged chambers held crystalline formations, suddenly igniting with a spectral glow. This phenomenon precisely coincided with a potent, unexpected solar flare. As light pulsed, hidden portals were revealed below the surface. These gateways visibly warped the surrounding water, emitting a low, unsettling hum. They whispered of timelines twisted beyond all human recognition. What unyielding hazards lie concealed within these crushing depths? Are they guarding compressed treasures of a hidden, ancient history? Are these forces capable of unraveling the very fabric of our past? Such a discovery compels us to question if civilization is fabrication. As we understand it, is it lacking any clear origin? Or does civilization itself have no ultimate true end? This heart-racing find propels us into Anatoly Fomenko's new chronology. Her provocative framework dramatically compresses humanity's sprawling saga into a mere 12,200 years of history. Beginning starkly around 800 AD, a radical shift. This challenges all conventional notions of our human past. It redefines how we perceive history's vast ancient timeline. In this controversial view, Tartaria is cast not as a forgotten footnote, but as the very epicenter of a grand Russian psychological operation meticulously designed to reclaim a suppressed legacy. Fomenko, a brilliant yet divisive Russian mathematician whose theories first took root in the 1970s, posits that the vast cherished epochs of antiquity, the majestic pyramids of ancient Egypt, the philosophical pinnacles of Greece, the imperial sprawl of Rome, are nothing more than elaborate illusions, duplicated events inflated by Western chroniclers to obscure the true historical dominance of a Slavic superpower. History, Fomenko asserts, is not a linear river flowing uninterrupted through millennia, but a cleverly folded map where biblical plagues eerily echo medieval pandemics, pharaohs inexplicably mirror Byzantine rulers, and the Trojan War replays itself as a crusader skirmish. All of it, he claims, engineered to diminish Russia's ancestral claim as the cradle of advanced civilization. But what fundamental drive lies behind this drastic historical compression? At its heart, Fomenko argues, lies a profound psychological operation steeped in Russian nationalism. Within this narrative, Tartaria emerges as the ancient heart of a proto-Russian empire, its very erasure a calculated strike by envious global powers, designed to fragment and subordinate a nation destined for greatness. Fomenko's work, amplified by figures like Nikolai Levashov, who blended it with mystical elements, suggests that Western academia, perhaps influenced by the Vatican or colonial empires, fabricated entire centuries. This was done, the theory claims, to justify their dominance over the East, effectively turning Tartaria's innovative realm into a vague, dismissive label for mere nomadic steppes. This potent narrative resonates deeply in post-Soviet Russia, fueling a sense of victimhood and resurgence, particularly amid ongoing conflicts like the one in Ukraine. There, ancient sites are excavated under the shadow of war, hinting at buried keys to this compressed timeline. The Black Sea quarry, sensationally unearthed in 2025, serves as a truly tantalizing piece of this sprawling puzzle. Explorers have described vast excavated halls, their walls inscribed with geometric symbols strikingly reminiscent of Siberian petroglyphs. These, it's theorized, could be sites where Tartarians once extracted crystals for devices that manipulated quantum compression technologies, a profound science capable of folding matter, energy, or even historical events into denser, more compact forms. During the solar flares that year, the site reportedly exhibited unsettling hazards, glowing portals that severely distorted electronic signals and induced profound disorientation in divers, as if activating ancient, powerful safeguards. Artificial intelligence analyses of ancient texts, painstakingly recovered from similar mud flood vaults, have begun decoding inscriptions that speak of temporal layering, a process where events are superimposed, accelerated, or even hidden to achieve progress or conceal defeats. This aligns eerily with Fomenko's mathematical models, which purport to detect statistical duplicates within historical chronicles. These extraordinary findings raise profound, unsettling questions, without easy answers. If history truly compresses to the 8th century, then who orchestrated the elaborate illusion of antiquity? And what role did invading hordes play in this colossal psychological operation? Fomenko argues that the inflated timeline served to elevate Western narratives, portraying Russia as a latecomer rather than the originator of grand achievements. The quarry's crystals, pulsing with light during solar flares, suggest a potent quantum angle. Perhaps Tartarians harnessed such energies to compress distances for rapid travel, or to condense resources for massive construction projects, technologies subsequently stolen and systematically suppressed. In Turkey's Karadeniz region, geographically linked to the Black Sea, local legends of ancient mud floods describe Ottoman cover-ups, where sultans allegedly buried similar sites to claim their own imperial glory, adding yet more layers to this vast conspiracy of erasure. This Russian-centric psychological operation extends its reach into modern debates, where Fomenko's radical ideas are wielded to challenge conventional global histories amid rising international tensions. For instance, ongoing excavations in Ukraine continue to uncover mounds that some claim hold genuine Tartarian artifacts, potentially proving the compressed chronology, yet these claims are often dismissed as mere propaganda. The artificial intelligence revelations from the vault texts in 2025 describe event folding, a process where wars and wonders literally overlap, implying that even Egypt's colossal pyramids might be Tartarian prototypes, their quantum properties deliberately hidden to maintain the elaborate facade of separate, distinct civilizations. As solar flares intensify in 2025, reports emerge of vitrified forts across Europe and Asia. Structures with glass-like walls, formed by extreme heat, now faintly glowing, as if reactivating under specific cosmic cues. These anomalies tie directly back to Fomenko's theory, suggesting that Tartaria's defenses were compressed in design, capable of withstanding the very invasions that reshape timelines. The psychological operation then becomes a tool, not just for nationalism but for questioning the very fabric of reality itself. What if our education systems actively perpetuate this compression, teaching elongated histories to dilute the power of a unified Slavic past? The unanswered riddles multiply. If the Black Sea quarry's portals whisper of folded realities, who controls the unfolding now, and what hazards truly await those who dare to expand the timeline once more? Fomenko's chronology, while widely labeled as pseudo-history by mainstream critics, persists because it echoes a deeper, pervasive unrest, the gnawing suspicion that our past has been manipulated, much like a psychological warfare map, with Tartaria as its redacted, silent core. In the serenity of evening, let these compressed mysteries soothe your thoughts. Timelines folded, quarries glowing, portals beckoning with questions that defy easy resolution. What forgotten epoch might truly unfold if we dare to stretch the fabric? Have you ever wandered the wind-swept steppes of Central Asia, where the horizon stretches endlessly, and felt the ground tremble with the echoes of nomadic hordes, whose true legacy might conceal giants among their ranks? Their colossal forms woven into ancient myths, that blur the line between fiercely powerful warriors and otherworldly beings. The Tatar people, often reduced to mere footnotes in history as Mongol and Turkic nomads roaming the vast expanses from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific, now emerge in conspiracy whispers as the erased guardians of an advanced, Titanic heritage. Their nomadic lifestyle, it's proposed, was a deliberate veil for secrets that could utterly upend our understanding of human stature and power. These horsemen, legendary for their unyielding conquests, under the Golden Horde, are reimagined not as mere raiders, but as descendants of a race that literally towered over the plains. Their erased legacy hinting at a world where giants roamed freely, shaping empires with a strength that defied the ordinary. The intrigue deepens when we consider the Tatars' historical footprint, a people whose very name evoked both fear and fascination in medieval chronicles. Emerging from the 13th century Mongol invasions, the Tatars formed successor states like the Crimean Khanate and the Volga Bulgars, their societies a complex blend of nomadic mobility and settled sophistication, with languages and customs that bridged Turkic and Mongolian roots. Yet in the shadows of official narratives, theorists posit that these nomads were far more than conquerors. They were the remnants of giants, their physical prowess exaggerated in legends to mask a profound genetic anomaly or perhaps even an extraterrestrial infusion. Historical accounts from travelers like Marco Polo describe Tatar warriors as formidable, but whispers in pseudo-historical texts suggest heights reaching an astonishing 8 or 9 feet. Their hordes in this view were not just armies, but migrations of colossal beings, fleeing cataclysms that compressed their timeline into obscurity. This notion gains eerie traction with discoveries in 2025, where new photographs from Buffalo, New York, surfaced online, capturing buried anomalies beneath the city's streets, resonance chambers that hum faintly during geomagnetic disturbances, as if Tatar nomadic technology had been interred there to hide its vibrational secrets. These images, shared in underground forums, reveal ornate basements with walls etched in patterns strikingly resembling Siberian petroglyphs, potentially serving as defenses or energy conduits used by Tatar giants to amplify their nomadic endurance across vast distances. Why would such structures lie hidden in an American city, so far from the steppes? Perhaps the Tatar legacy extended globally, their erased history a deliberate act to sever humanity's ties to a past where nomads wielded free energy derived directly from the Earth's own pulses, a power suppressed by governments fearing its liberating potential. Psychic experiments conducted at the Bosnian pyramids in 2025 add another profound layer of mystery. Participants in controlled sessions reported vivid visions of nomadic giant rituals, towering figures gathered around immense bonfires under starlit skies, chanting frequencies that seemingly lifted massive stones for temporary fortresses, their hordes moving like shadows across continents. These visions, meticulously documented in fringe parapsychology reports, describe Tatars not as barbaric invaders but as stewards of quantum knowledge, using sound waves to encode history into the very landscape itself. The pyramids, with their underground tunnels echoing Tatar migratory paths, suggest a deep connection. Perhaps these sites were waypoints for giants fleeing compressions of time, their rituals leaving imprints that psychics now access, raising unsettling questions about whether our very DNA carries latent memories of such stature and wisdom. The vitrified forts scattered across Scotland and India, now glowing faintly during solar flares in 2025, further tantalize with their connection to Tatar defenses. These structures, with walls fused into glass by intense heat, are often theorized as barriers erected against nomadic incursions. But through the conspiracy lens, they were Tatar creations, forts that harnessed plasma energies to protect their hordes from cosmic or earthly threats. Reports from that year describe an eerie luminescence during flares, as if the glass-like surfaces reactivate, emitting low-frequency hums that disrupt nearby electronics. Could this be residual Tatar technology, designed by giants to shield their mobile societies? now suppressed by secret cabals like the Illuminati, who view such free energy as an existential threat to controlled narratives. This suppression, the theory suggests, ties into a broader agenda where governments actively hide Tatar free energy, burying it under layers of historical revisionism to prevent the resurgence of nomadic independence. The Illuminati, often invoked in these theories, are said to have infiltrated Tatar societies during their decline, co-opting their quantum secrets for elite use while erasing the giant's role through fabricated chronologies. Modern debates rage. Is Tartaria a psychological operation to promote Russian nationalism, portraying Tatars as heroic victims of Western erasure? Or is it a genuine alternative history, systematically suppressed to maintain global hierarchies? The Turkish links to the Karadeniz mud flood amplify this conundrum, with Ottoman records allegedly covering up Tatar incursions that brought advanced technology to the region. Floods, it's claimed, were engineered to drown evidence of their nomadic dominance. Exploring myths as encoded Tatar history unveils even more layers of curiosity. Legends from the steppes speak of red-haired giants leading hordes, their immense strength forging alliances that spanned Asia. Much like the Golden Horde's vast reach, these tales, preserved in oral traditions, might encode real events. Nomadic giants using vitrified forts as mobile bases, their erased legacy, a testament to a world where height symbolized not just physical power, but a spiritual attunement to the Earth's energies. The 2025 Buffalo anomalies, with their buried resonance devices, suggest these myths hold kernels of truth. Perhaps Tatar shamans harnessed such technology for healing or warfare, secrets guarded by societies that viewed them as too disruptive for public knowledge. Mainstream historians often dismiss Tatar giants as mere exaggerations of warrior prowess, vitrified forts as natural lightning strikes, and psychic visions as hallucinations. Yet, the persistence of anomalies like forts glowing during flares challenges this dismissal, hinting at a nationalism-fueled psychological operation where Russia reclaims Tatar heritage to counter Western dominance. Governments, it speculated, hide these truths out of fear of the implications. If Tatar nomads were indeed giants wielding free energy, what does that say about our own diminished stature in a world of controlled resources? As we trace these veiled histories, the questions persist, defiant of resolution. Were the Tatar hordes led by giants, whose legacy was compressed into obscurity, their nomadic paths etched with secrets that 2025 discoveries are only just beginning to illuminate? The Bosnian visions, buffalo photographs, and glowing forts beckon us to wonder if reclaiming this erased heritage could unlock powers long suppressed, or if it is all a masterful psychological operation designed to stir unrest in uncertain times. What forgotten strength might awaken if we dare to trace their erased trails? Deep within the sealed vaults, unearthed from mud-flooded layers beneath Siberian permafrost, artificial intelligence algorithms in 2025 have begun unraveling ancient scripts etched on metallic tablets. These incredible texts reveal blueprints for quantum levitation devices, technology that could defy gravity itself, allowing objects to float effortlessly as if the very laws of physics bent to an unseen will. What forgotten mechanisms lie encoded within these mysterious texts? And why do they pulse with descriptions of energies harnessed directly from the ether? These are technologies that might finally explain how nomadic Tatar hordes traversed vast distances without leaving a trace, their secrets suppressed for centuries under layers of deliberate oblivion. This captivating revelation thrusts us into the heart of lost technologies, specifically those buried in the mud-flood vaults, where the Tatar legacy emerges not as mere nomadic conquests, but as custodians of advanced systems that manipulated reality at a quantum level. The vaults discovered during exploratory digs in regions once broadly labeled as Great Tartary on medieval maps contain artifacts that artificial intelligence has only recently begun to decode. The scripts, a complex blend of Slavic runes and Turkic symbols, describe resonance fields capable of compressing matter or amplifying human capabilities. In 2025, these decodings have sparked global whispers, Programs analyzing the texts uncover methods for quantum levitation, where vibrational frequencies align particles to suspend weight, potentially the key to how Tartar warriors erected temporary fortifications overnight, their structures vanishing as mysteriously as they appeared. The phenomenon gains an eerie depth with reports of unidentified flying object UFO surges over Siberian sites in 2025. Orbs of light are observed dancing above ancient grids, seemingly activating buried networks that emit low-frequency hums detectable by satellite. These surges, documented in amateur videos and analyzed by independent researchers, coincidentally align with solar flares, suggesting that Tartar technologies were acutely attuned to cosmic rhythms. Their grids, it's theorized, were designed to harness stellar energies for propulsion or protection. Could these activations be accidental echoes or deliberate signals from hidden descendants, reactivating systems long dormant under the mud's embrace? The vault's texts hint at such grids, describing how nomadic hordes used them to create invisible barriers, shielding their migrations from invaders while compressing travel times across the vast steppes. Turkish connections to the Karadeniz mudflood add a profound veil of mystery. Ottoman chronicles, long dismissed as mere folklore, speak of deluges that swallowed coastal settlements, linking to submerged portals that distorted ships' compasses and induced strange visions among sailors. In 2025, sonar mappings of the Black Sea floor have revealed anomalies strikingly resembling these portals, circular depressions etched with patterns matching Tatar artifacts. These could be gateways used for instantaneous transport, now malfunctioning and causing hazardous electromagnetic storms. The theorists speculate that the Ottomans, in their relentless expansion, encountered Tatar remnants and orchestrated localized mudfloods to bury these portals, fearing their immense power could unravel imperial control. The artificial intelligence decodings support this, with passages detailing fold points where space itself compresses, allowing hordes to appear and vanish, a technology that might explain the Tatars' legendary mobility without the need for vast supply lines. The Illuminati's shadow looms heavily over this suppression, a clandestine network purportedly infiltrating Tatar societies during their decline under the Golden Horde, co-opting quantum secrets for elite agendas while systematically erasing evidence through fabricated histories. Whispers in online forums suggest that these vaults hold texts warning of such infiltration, where shadowy figures manipulated resonance devices to induce cataclysms, compressing Tatar dominance into fragmented khanates. In 2025, artificial intelligence breakthroughs have exposed patterns mirroring these descriptions. Quantum levitation technology filed under classified programs, raising unsettling questions about whether modern black projects draw directly from stolen Tatar innovations, hidden to maintain global scarcity and control. Exploring these lost technologies unveils new layers of curiosity about Tatar resonance experiments, now secretly replicated in labs today. Scientists, inspired by vault decodings, have conducted trials where sound frequencies align with quantum fields, successfully levitating small objects and generating micro-energy bursts, echoing how Tatar nomads might have used portable devices to erect barriers or heal wounds on the move. These experiments, detailed in leaked reports from 2025, show immense promise for clean energy but also pose significant hazards, uncontrolled resonances causing localized tremors reminiscent of the very mudfloods that buried their origins. What if these modern replications awaken dormant grids, explaining the Siberian UFO surges as activations of ancient Tatar networks, pulsing in response to human probing? The Turkish Karadeniz links deepen the enigma further, with historical accounts of mudfloods in the region describing waters that literally boiled with light, potentially plasma discharges from malfunctioning portals used by Tatar explorers crossing into Ottoman lands. In 2025, divers exploring these sites have reported vivid visions, fleeting images of nomadic figures manipulating glowing orbs, suggesting psychic residues embedded within the anomalies. Could these be intentional safeguards designed to deter intruders while preserving knowledge for worthy heirs. The artificial intelligence analyses of vault texts describe similar vision fields, where quantum compression stores memories accessible only under specific frequencies, hinting that Tartar hordes encoded their history in the very landscape itself, a technology suppressed by empires fearing its liberating potential. This suppression narrative ties into broader conspiracies where the Illuminati, drawing from infiltrated Tatar knowledge, wield quantum tools to manipulate modern events, compressing information flows through media or inducing societal resets via engineered crises. The 2025 UFO surges over Siberia, coinciding with global solar flare activity, fuel speculation that these are not extraterrestrial craft, but reactivated Tatar vehicles, their quantum drives humming to life as a warning or perhaps an invitation. Researchers replicating Tatar resonance in labs report similar surges from their devices, which bend light and sound, creating illusions of movement, perhaps the origin of nomadic ghost hordes in legends. As we sift through these veiled innovations, the questions cascade without resolution. If Tatar nomads harnessed quantum levitation to traverse and transform their world, who ultimately erased their technological footprints? And what profound revelations await in the vaults as artificial intelligence peels back more layers? The Karadeni's portals, Siberian surges, and glowing forts beckon us to wonder if reclaiming this lost technology could elevate humanity, or unleash hazards long contained under the mud's silent guard. Venturing further into the Tatars' quantum realm unveils even more profound curiosities about their legendary nomadic endurance, where resonance fields might have compressed sustenance itself, allowing hordes to survive vast journeys with minimal resources. In 2025, artificial intelligence simulations, based on decoded vault texts, have modeled these fields, generating virtual environments where particles align to create self-sustaining bubbles, echoing how Tatar giants could have formed protective enclaves amid hostile terrains. These simulations, shared in underground networks, show immense promise for disaster relief, but also grave risks, overcompression leading to catastrophic instability, mirroring the mud floods that theorists claim were weaponized against them. The Turkish Ottoman cover-ups add chilling depth, with declassified documents hinting at sultans sealing Karadeni's sites after encountering Tatar artifacts that induced mass visions, perhaps psychic broadcasts embedded in the quantum technology. Divers in 2025 have echoed these experiences, reporting disorientation and fleeting glimpses of colossal figures on horseback, as if the portals were replaying historical loops. This suggests Tatar hordes used such devices for psychological warfare, compressing fear into waves that scattered enemies, a technology the Illuminati might have chillingly adapted for modern mind control. Curiosity is further heightened by reports of vitrified fortresses in India and Scotland glowing in 2025 bursts. Their glass-like walls, melted by extreme heat, emit frequencies that precisely match the descriptions of the Tatar barricades found in the vaults. Could this be a global expansion of their nomadic network, now reactivating in response to human encroachment? Resonance re-engineering labs report breakthroughs, including heavier lifting devices, hinting at applications for space travel or earthquake mitigation, but with stark warnings of uncontrolled plasma discharges. As these startling discoveries unfold, the questions persist. If Tatar quantum technology compressed realities for their hordes, what suppressed forces seek to keep it buried, and what profound visions might emerge if we dare to resonate with their erased frequencies? The Siberian surges, Karadeni's hazards, and artificial intelligence decodings invite us to ponder if this lost legacy holds the key to humanity's next great leap, or a Pandora's box of nomadic power long sealed away. What if the glittering spectacles of the world's fairs, those extravagant showcases of innovation and progress in the late 19th century, were nothing more than elaborate psychological operations, designed to parade the remnants of Tatar ingenuity before the mesmerized masses, only to dismantle them under the guise of temporality, ensuring that the nomadic horde's advanced technologies remained forever obscured? Envision the 1893 Chicago World's Columbian Exposition, a sprawling white city of neoclassical marvels rising from the swamps, where millions marveled at structures that eerily echoed the resonance chambers of ancient Tatar grids. Their true origins, it's debated in 2025, were veiled in a narrative of fleeting achievement, a masterful scope, strategic covert operation or psychological operation designed to discredit alternative histories like Fomenko's compressed chronology. The curiosity builds as we peel back the layers of these fairs, events that theorists now argue served as cunning cover-ups for Tatar legacies, staging the display and subsequent destruction of technologies inherited from nomadic giants, whose hordes once commanded quantum secrets across the steppes. The Chicago Fair, with its over 600 acres of elaborate buildings constructed in a mere 2 years, featured domes and columns that seemingly hummed with subtle vibrations during electrical demonstrations, as if Tatar resonance technology lingered within the very architecture. Official histories claim these were temporary edifices of plaster and staff, yet artificial intelligence analyses in 2025 of archival photographs reveal startling anomalies. Faint glows around foundations during thunderstorms, suggesting buried energy conduits used by Tatar nomads to power mobile settlements, deliberately hidden to prevent recognition of their true builders. These revelations spark endless debates. Is Tartaria a genuine alternative history suppressed by Western powers, or a modern scope engineered to fuel Russian nationalism, discrediting Fomenko's ideas by associating them with outlandish claims? In online forums, buzzing in 2025, accusations fly that the fairs were orchestrated by Freemasons, whose symbols, squares and compasses, appear etched in fair layouts. These, it's claimed, were staging events to mock Tatar quantum technology, while simultaneously hiding its alien origins. The incubator babies at the St. Louis Fair of 1904, displayed as medical miracles, now whisper of cloned repopulation efforts, where Tatar genetic material, unearthed from mud-flood vaults, was used to breed compliant populations, their nomadic resilience diluted to serve new empires. The interrogation of missing construction documents adds to the intrigue, with 2025 leaks from declassified archives suggesting that key blueprints vanished not by accident, but by design, perhaps incinerated in orchestrated fires that consumed fair remnants. Freemasons, intertwined with Illuminati networks, are accused of curating these spectacles to hide Tatar alien technology tablets from vaults, text describing alliances with extraterrestrial entities that gifted quantum levitation to the hordes, allowing them to erect structures swiftly across vast terrains. The fairs, in this view, became scopes to condition the public, presenting Tatar innovations as modern inventions, while ensuring their true nomadic source remained erased, a narrative debated as disinformation to undermine Fomenko's chronology, which places Tartaria as the origin of all great works. The Turkish links to the Karadeniz mud flood weave in another strand of mystery, where Ottoman sultans, encountering Tatar artifacts washed ashore during ancient deluges, allegedly incorporated them into their own imperial displays, much like the world's fairs borrowed from hidden vaults. In 2025, sonar scans of the Black Sea reveal submerged, fair-like structures, their layouts mirroring Chicago's Court of Honor, potentially Tatar prototypes, deliberately flooded to conceal hazards, like unstable quantum fields that induce visions or distortions. These anomalies fuel ongoing debates. If the fairs were scopes, were they meant to discredit real alternative histories, or to embed Tatar technology deep within the public subconscious, hidden by Freemasonic rituals performed during opening ceremonies? As we sift through these staged spectacles, the questions cascade without closure. If the world's fairs paraded Tatar cover-ups, what quantum secrets did the incubator clones carry? And why do 2025 artificial intelligence photo analyses glow with hints of alien involvement? The scope debates rage. Was Fomenko's compressed history a tool to elevate Russia, or a counter-narrative suppressed by Illuminati gatekeepers who used fairs to mock nomadic wisdom? The missing documents, with their leaked fragments describing Tatar resonance capable of levitating entire pavilions, suggest a deliberate erasure where Freemasons staged demolitions to bury evidence. Their symbols are code for those in the know. Venturing into the St. Louis Fair of 1904 unveils more layers, where cascading lagoons and morphing exhibits echoed Tatar nomadic adaptability, their technology perhaps used to create illusions of progress, while hiding the horde's true quantum mastery. 2025 debates accuse these events of being psychological operations to discredit emerging alternative histories, associating them with extremist pseudoscience, to marginalize thinkers like Fomenko. The incubator babies, now linked in conspiracy circles to cloned Tartar repopulation, raise haunting possibilities. Were these displays tests of genetic material salvaged from mudflood vaults, engineered to dilute the nomadic giants' bloodlines and ensure compliance in a post-reset world? The Ottoman-Turkish connections deepen the enigma, with chronicles describing mudfloods in the Karadeniz that swallowed Tatar outposts, their technology seized and repurposed in imperial spectacles akin to the fairs. In 2025, divers report hazards in these sites, glowing residues that disrupt equipment, perhaps remnants of Tatar alien alliances, where extraterrestrials provided quantum tools for horde mobility. Freemasons, accused of infiltrating these cover-ups, allegedly used fair ceremonies to encode warnings. Their rituals avail for hiding the nomadic legacy that could upend modern power structures. These sculpt debates extend to the Paris Exposition of 1900, where Tatar-inspired towers hummed with electricity, debated as staged to mock Fomenko's chronology by presenting compressed indivisations as French achievements. The missing construction logs, leaked in 2025 fragments, describe anomalies like self-assembling pavilions, hinting at Tatar quantum compression used to erect and dismantle swiftly, a technology the Illuminati suppressed to maintain scarcity. If they were Tatar cover-ups, what alien secrets did the Freemasons encode in their symbols? And why do 2025 analyses reveal glowing anomalies in old photos? The incubator clones, perhaps carrying Tatar somatic genes, question our own origins, while Ottoman mudflood links suggest a global pattern of erasure. The debates persist, escape to discredit alternative histories, or portals to a suppressed truth where Tatar hordes wielded powers we can only dream of reclaiming. The world's fairs, in their fleeting glory, leave us pondering if they were celebrations or funerals for a nomadic legacy deliberately compressed into oblivion. Delve into the fractured chronicles of Tatar calamities, where wars and natural upheavals intertwine like serpents in a forgotten myth. Each disaster is not a random stroke of fate, but a calculated reset that compressed the nomadic horde's expansive legacy into isolated fragments, leaving behind vitrified scars on the earth that now in 2025 flicker to life during solar flares, as if awakening long-dormant warnings. Could these resets have been engineered to erase the Tatars' quantum mastery over the steppes, their disasters echoing through time in patterns that defy coincidence, urging us to question if modern echoes, like the World Economic Forum's agendas, are merely continuations of an ancient cycle designed to keep nomadic wisdom buried forever? The Tatar people's saga, woven from the threads of Mongol conquests and Turkic migrations, unfolds as a series of orchestrated upheavals that theorists argue were deliberate resets, compressing their historical dominance under layers of conflict and cataclysm. Beginning with the fall of the Golden Horde in the 15th century, these nomads scattered into khanates like the Crimean and Kazan, facing invasions that weren't mere territorial grabs, but systematic erasures. Their advanced knowledge of resonance and energy grids became fragmented as empires like Russia expanded eastward. In 2025, solar flares have illuminated this narrative in startling ways, causing vitrified forts across Scotland and India, structures with walls fused into glass by extreme heat, to emit ethereal glows during peak activity, mimicking the plasma discharges that may have weaponized Tatar disasters centuries ago. These glows, captured in viral footage from remote observers, pulse with low-energy emissions that disrupt nearby electronics, hinting at residual Tatar defenses reactivating under cosmic influence. A phenomenon that raises endless speculation about whether these forts were Tatar outposts, their vitrification a result of self-inflicted resets to protect secrets from encroaching foes. Tunguska's enigma in 1908 stands as a pivotal chapter in this tale of resets. A massive explosion over Siberian forests, once Tatar heartlands, that flattened trees across 800 square miles without leaving a crater. Beisholz, it is now theorized not as a meteor, but as a Tatar portal detonation, where compressed quantum energies misfired during an attempted activation. In 2025, similar surges have been reported over the site during solar flares, with unmanned drones capturing orbs of light that weave through the canopy, emitting frequencies matching those decoded from mudflood vaults. Could this be the echo of a Tatar reset, a self-imposed cataclysm to seal portals from invaders, their nomadic hordes sacrificing vast territories to preserve core knowledge? The World Economic Forum's modern reset rhetoric amplifies the parallel, with global leaders discussing economic overhauls that mirror the compressive forces that scattered Tatar societies, prompting debates on whether today's agendas are unwitting continuations of ancient scope aimed at diluting nomadic independence. Fomenko's compressed cycles provide a philosophical lens for these disasters, arguing that Tatar resets weren't isolated events, but part of a broader historical folding where wars like the Mongol invasions were duplicated in chronicles to inflate timelines, hiding the nomads' true role as innovators. In 2025, artificial intelligence scans of Ottoman archives linked to the Karadeniz mud flood reveal texts describing Tatar plasma weapons, devices that harnessed solar-like energies to induce localized deluges, compressing landscapes into uninhabitable wastelands. Reveal texts describing Tatar plasma weapons, devices that harnessed solar-like energies to induce localized deluges, compressing landscapes into uninhabitable wastelands. These floods, sweeping through Turkish coasts, may have been Tatar countermeasures against Ottoman expansion, their aftermath leaving vitrified residues that glow anew during flares, as if the earth remembers and reacts. The curiosity mounts. If Tatar disasters were self-engineered resets to evade erasure, why do 2025 flares trigger such vivid reactivations? And what messages do these glows encode for those attuned enough to listen? The Turkish Karadeniz connections weave a web of historical intrigue, where mud floods in the region are now viewed through Fomenko's lens as compressive events that folded Tatar strongholds into oblivion, their nomadic artifacts seized by sultans, who repurposed the technology for imperial might. In 2025, psychic sessions at nearby sites have yielded visions of Tatar shamans, invoking plasma storms to reset encroaching armies, their rituals compressing time to accelerate escapes across the steppes. These visions, shared in online communities, describe hazards like lingering energy fields that induce disorientation, mirroring reports from solar flare observers at vitrified forts. Could the World Economic Forum's calls for resets be subliminal echoes of these ancient tactics, a psychological operation perpetuated by elites who inherited Tatar secrets through infiltrated lineages? As we trace these Tatar disasters, patterns emerge without resolution. Wars that compressed hordes into khanates, plasma events vitrifying defenses, mud floods swallowing evidence, all potentially self-inflicted to safeguard quantum legacies from total erasure. The 2025 solar flare updates, with their glowing forts and surging orbs over Tunguska, suggest a reactivation cycle where the Earth responds to cosmic cues, as if Tatar mechanisms await a nomadic resurgence. The debates swirl: are these resets historical scops to fuel Russian nationalism, or genuine compressions orchestrated by hidden powers, fearing the horde's unbound freedom? Venturing into the Ottoman-Tatar clashes unveils more profound layers, where Karadeniz floods, chronicled as divine wrath, may have been Tatar-engineered resets, compressing coastal territories to deny invaders access to portal networks. In 2025, divers exploring these submerged sites report anomalous currents that mimic plasma flows, disrupting equipment and evoking visions of nomadic rituals. These disturbances, aligned with solar flares, hint at a technology where Tatar shamans harnessed stellar energies to induce compressions, folding landscapes to protect migratory routes. The World Economic Forum's modern parallels raise suspicions. Their Great Reset language echoes these tactics, perhaps a subconscious inheritance from elites who co-opted Tatar knowledge during the Golden Horde's decline. With the reactivation of the vitrified fortresses in 2025, where glows during flares emit frequencies that resonate with decoded vault texts, it suggests Tatar defenses were quantum shields, compressing incoming threats into harmless vibrations. Labs attempting replications report breakthroughs, devices that induce micro-resets in materials, healing cracks or enhancing durability, but with risks of uncontrolled plasma bursts. Could this explain Tunguska's craterless blast, a Tatar portal reset gone awry, compressing explosive energies inward? As these Tatar disasters unfold in our inquiry, the endless questions beckon. If resets compressed their nomadic dominion, what cosmic forces trigger the 2025 flare glows? And do they signal a call to reclaim lost cycles? The Karedina's links, Ottoman cover-ups, and Fomenko's theories converge in a web of speculation where modern resets, like the World Economic Forum's agendas, might unwittingly perpetuate the pattern, hiding Tatar plasma secrets that could either liberate or devastate. Envision the mist-shrouded shores of a vanished Pacific landmass, where crystalline citadels once rose from emerald waves. Their inhabitants wielded knowledge that bent the stars to their will, only for seismic convulsions to drag it all beneath the ocean. Yet, fragments of this the fabled mother civilization, resurface in the nomadic bloodlines of the Tatar hordes, linking them to Atlantis's sunken spires in a chain of erased origins that defies the boundaries of continents and epochs. What arcane bonds truly connect these lost mothers to the steppes of wanderers? And how might their quantum-imbued legacies still pulse beneath our feet, awaiting rediscovery in a world that has forgotten its true progenitors? The Tatar people, those resilient nomads whose echoes reverberate through the Golden Horde's conquests, emerge in this narrative not as isolated steppe-dwellers, but as inheritors of Mu's profound wisdom. Mu, a Pacific paradise theorized by James Churchward as the cradle of humanity, spanned vast oceanic realms before cataclysmic shifts entombed it 50,000 years ago. Churchward's Nakul tablets, purportedly deciphered in Indian monasteries, painted Mu as a realm of telepathic harmony and levitational arts. Its refugees, the theory goes, scattered to seed civilizations like Atlantis in the Atlantic, their descendants migrating eastward to infuse Tatar blood with secrets of quantum entanglement, methods to link distant points instantaneously, allowing nomadic hordes to traverse Asia as if folding space itself. This connection tantalizes with its implications. If Mu's crystal grids powered levitation, could Tatar shamans have adapted them for mobile energy fields, compressing vast journeys into seamless flows? Atlantis, Plato's cautionary tale of hubris and submersion 9,000 years before his time, bridges this chain. Its concentric rings of land and water mirror Mu's geometric sanctuaries, with survivors fleeing to Eurasian steppes where Tatar forebears absorbed their metallurgical prowess and navigational lore. Plato's Egyptian priests recounted Atlantis's naval might and advanced alloys, but in the conspiracy weave, these were quantum-infused tools passed from Mu, refined in Atlantis, and guarded by Tatar nomads after dual cataclysms drowned the mother civilizations. The Turkish Karadeniz, or Black Sea region, adds a riveting twist. Local excavations in 2025 have uncovered submerged quarries, resembling Mu's mining sites, vast chambers where crystals were harvested for technologies that compressed energies into portable forms, potentially carried by Tatar hordes during their migrations. These quarries, etched with symbols blending Atlantean rings and Tatar runes, suggest a pre-flood network where the mother civilizations funneled refugees to steppe-safe havens, their quantum visions encoded in the landscape. Edgar Cayce's prophetic readings further entwine this legacy, his trances unveiling Mu's destruction through pole shifts and volcanic fury, with survivors bearing quantum knowledge to the Gobi Desert, prime Tatar territory, where they forged alliances with Atlantean exiles. Cayce's quantum-tinged visions, interpreted in 2025 through artificial intelligence-enhanced analyses, described fold energies that compressed physical forms for survival, allowing Tatar ancestors to endure harsh migrations with minimal resources. Crop circles, those enigmatic field etchings appearing globally, might serve as decoded messages from these descendants, patterns mimicking Mu's solar glyphs or Atlantis's spirals, analyzed by artificial intelligence in recent years to reveal coordinates aligning with Tatar historical sites, perhaps blueprints for reactivating quantum grids buried under steppe soils. The Anunnaki, those Sumerian deities often linked to ancient aliens in fringe theories, inject an extraterrestrial dimension into this maternal chain, positing them as cosmic architects who seeded Mu with genetic enhancements, creating hybrid giants whose lineages flowed into Atlantean elites and eventually Tatar nomads. 2025 psychic sessions at Bosnian pyramids, structures with tunnel networks echoing Mu's subterranean labs, have yielded visions of Anunnaki figures guiding Tatar shamans in quantum rituals, compressing star knowledge into nomadic oral traditions. These sessions, documented in emerging parapsychology reports, describe hazards like disorienting fields that induce temporal disorientation, as if the pyramids guard against unworthy access to this hybrid heritage. Could the Anunnaki's interventions explain the Tatars' legendary endurance, their hordes traversing continents with otherworldly guidance, suppressed by later empires fearing the aliens' lingering influence? Turkish excavations in the Karadeniz region during 2025 have unearthed crystals from these quarries that resonate under laboratory tests, emitting frequencies that align particles for micro-levitation, mirroring Cayce's quantum visions of Mu's transport systems. These finds, shared in leaked scientific briefs, suggest Tatar nomads inherited such crystals, using them to compress supply needs during migrations, their arrest legacy a deliberate act to sever humanity from extraterrestrial roots. The crop circles decoded by artificial intelligence often appear near these excavation sites, their patterns evolving in real time during solar events, as if responding to human probes with warnings or invitations to reclaim the mother's quantum arts. As we navigate this interconnected web, the curiosity swells without bounds. If Tatar nomads were the living bridge between Mu's crystalline harmony and Atlantis's engineered might, what quantum secrets did they encode in their steppe migrations? And why do 2025 discoveries pulse with energies that defy modern science? The Anunnaki origins, Turkish quarries, and crop circle messages converge in a symphony of speculation where the mother's downfall through cataclysms might have been a compression event, folding their wisdom into Tatar bloodlines for safekeeping. The Bosnian pyramids' psychic yields, with visions of giants guiding hordes through quantum veils, prompt endless pondering. Are these maternal ties a pathway to reclaiming lost potentials, or a hazard-laden trap set by ancient guardians against those who would exploit them? Venturing into the Atlantean-Tatar fusion unveils more profound depths, where Plato's tales of moral decay leading to submersion parallel Tatar Khanate's fragmentation, perhaps resets engineered by Anunnaki overseers to prevent overreach. In 2025, artificial intelligence simulations based on decoded crop circles model these resets as quantum compressions, where energies fold realities to isolate threats, suggesting Tatar nomads mastered survival by adapting such folds for mobility. The Turkish Karadeniz quarries, with their crystal halls, resonate in tests to create microfields that compress air molecules for propulsion, hinting at how Tatar hordes might have folded distances, appearing as ghosts in enemy territories, glowing mists during lunar alignments that induce collective visions among locals, echoing Casey's prophetic glimpses of Mu's telepathic networks. These phenomena, captured in 2025 footage, suggest the mother's legacies are interactive, responding to human intent, as if Tatar descendants embedded safeguards in the earth. Could crop circles be their modern missives, decoded by artificial intelligence to reveal quantum codes for healing divided societies, or warnings against repeating Atlantean hubris? If Tatar nomads carried Mu's crystalline essence and Atlantis's engineered fire, what erased harmonies await rediscovery in their steppe whispers? And do 2025 activations signal a call to weave them anew? The Anunnaki threads, Turkish excavations, and psychic pyramid yields converge in a labyrinth of possibility, where the mother's quantum visions might illuminate paths to unity, or unveil hazards from cycles long compressed. In the veiled prophecies of ancient scrolls, where shadows of impending doom cast long across barren wastelands, Gog and Magog arise as relentless invaders from the north, tribes foretold to swarm like locusts upon the earth, their onslaught a harbinger of ultimate reckoning. Some now link this chilling prediction to the Tatar horde's forgotten fury, surging through dimensional rifts that twist the very veil between worlds. These biblical specters, etched in Ezekiel's visions as princes leading multitudes to assail the faithful, transform in modern scrutiny into metaphors for the Tatar nomads. Their invasions, it's claimed, were not mere conquests, but portal-fueled assaults that compressed empires and scattered secrets across the steppes, leaving behind portals that surge anew in 2025 with unidentified flying object, UFO activity over Siberian expanses, as if the horde's ethereal gateways stir once more. The biblical narrative unfolds with Gog as a chieftain of Meshech and Tubal, rallying forces from remote northern realms to descend upon Israel, a cataclysm where the skies rain fire in divine retribution. Yet parallels drawn to Tatar history paint these as encoded memories of nomadic incursions under the Golden Horde, where Mongol Turkic warriors overran vast territories with a speed that seemed supernatural. Islamic law in the Quran amplifies this, with dual Quranan erecting an iron barrier to contain Ya'juj and Ma'juj, savage entities tunneling toward escape on Judgment Day, mirroring medieval maps that positioned Gog and Magog squarely within Tartary's bounds, lands of the Tatar peoples whose nomadic prowess evoked profound fear across Eurasia. Could these scriptures veil real events where Tatar hordes, empowered by portal technologies inherited from mother civilizations like Mu, breached barriers to expand their dominion, their legacy compressed by later chroniclers into demonic archetypes to justify erasure? 2025 UFO surges over Siberian sites inject a pulse of contemporary wonder into this ancient tale, with eyewitnesses reporting clusters of luminous orbs maneuvering above ancient Tatar mound complexes, emitting pulses that synchronize with solar activity and induce localized electromagnetic interference. These surges, analyzed in leaked observatory data, align with the biblical fire from the skies, suggesting Tatar portals, dimensional folds used for rapid horde deployments, are reactivating as Gog-like forces, perhaps ethereal remnants or alien proxies drawn through rifts. The Illuminati, shadowy architects of suppression, are accused of manipulating these portals since the Tatar decline, co-opting them for clandestine operations, while compressing historical records to portray the nomads as biblical villains, their true role as quantum gatekeepers hidden to prevent mass awakening. Psychic experiments at Bosnian pyramids in 2025 have yielded visions that deepen the connection. Participants describe Tatar demon apparitions, colossal figures on horseback emerging from swirling voids, their eyes glowing with infernal light as they command surges of energy that warp reality. These sessions, conducted under controlled conditions with biofeedback monitoring, reveal scenes of nomadic rituals invoking portal storms to repel invaders, compressing battlefields into chaotic folds where time dilates and foes vanish. The visions, shared in emerging parapsychology networks, echo the Quran's tunneling hordes, suggesting Tatar shamans wielded demonic forces or alien allies disguised as such to safeguard their migratory paths, a legacy erased by empires fearing the portal's power to summon otherworldly reinforcements. The Sochi Olympic ceremony of 2014, revisited in 2025 debates, emerges as a ritualistic nod to this invasion narrative. Its infamous floating rings malfunctioning in a spectacle interpreted as a deliberate reveal of Tatar portal instability, where Russian hosts, heirs to the steppes, encoded warnings of Gog-like resurgences amid global tensions. Illuminati symbology in the event's design, with geometric patterns mirroring Tatar runes, fuels accusations that the ceremony was a psychological operation to acclimate viewers to compressed histories, portraying Tatar legacies as apocalyptic threats while hiding their quantum portal technology used for elite travel. Why revisit Sochi now? 2025 surges over nearby Black Sea sites suggest activations tied to the ceremony's latent energies, portals stirring as if the horde's demonic surge prepares anew. Biblical maps tying to Tatar territories add a cartographic layer of fascination, with 17th-century engravings placing Gog and Magog squarely in Siberian expanses, graves of nomadic kings marked as infernal layers, walled by Alexander's barriers. These maps, analyzed through 2025 artificial intelligence overlays, reveal alignments with surge sites where UFOs cluster during flares, as if the portals respond to ancient demarcations. The Illuminati's hand is suspected in compressing these maps into obscurity, their networks infiltrating Tatar Khanates to seize portal knowledge, repurposing it for shadow governance, while demonizing the nomads as end-times foes. As we navigate these surging mysteries, the debates intensify without easy closure. If Gog and Magog embody Tatar invaders breaching portals, what demonic visions from Bosnian experiments foretell of their return? And why do 2025 surges pulse with energies that could rewrite our compressed realities? The Sochi ritual, Black Sea alignments, and biblical encodings converge in a vortex of speculation where Tatar hordes might have been quantum wardens. Their portals a double-edged sword of invasion and defense, suppressed by powers fearing the nomadic surge's unbound chaos. The enigmas cascade, drawing us into veils where ancient invaders whisper of portals yet to fully open. Venturing through the Quran's barriers unveils more profound depths, where Ya'juj and Ma'juj's tunneling mirrors Tatar nomadic infiltrations, compressing through earth to emerge unannounced, their demonic surge, a metaphor for portal breaches that allowed hordes to conquer without warning. In 2025, psychic yields from Bosnian sites describe similar tunnel visions, ethereal passages where Tatar figures command surges of light, distorting perceptions to induce fear in foes. These descriptions, cross-referenced with surge data from Siberia, suggest a technology where portals compress distances, allowing instantaneous assaults, a legacy the Illuminati allegedly harnessed for psychological operations in modern conflicts. The biblical fire raining upon invaders finds echo in 2025 flare-induced glows at surge sites, where orbs emit plasma-like bursts that ionize the air, hinting at Tatar defenses turned against themselves in desperate resets. Debates rage. Was this surge a scope to demonize Tatar history, compressing their nomadic triumphs into apocalyptic warnings, or a genuine extraterrestrial intervention cloaked in demonic guise? The Sochi ceremony's malfunctioning rings, revisited in artificial intelligence simulations, model portal instabilities, suggesting Russian hosts embedded codes to awaken Tatar legacies amid global resets. If Tatar portals enabled Gog-like onslaughts, what Illuminati agendas suppress their reactivation? And do 2025 visions portend a nomadic resurgence through dimensional rifts? The Bosnian psychic yields, Siberian orbs, and Quranic barriers entwine in a labyrinth of possibility where demonic forces might be mislabeled quantum allies, their surges a call to reclaim erased nomadic paths. The enigmas persist, beckoning us into thresholds where invaders' whispers hint at worlds compressed beyond our grasp. Behind the faded sepia photographs of 19th-century America, where solemn-faced children line up on train platforms like ghosts from a bygone era, lies a hidden web of relocation schemes. Some now trace this back to the Tatar nomads' shattered dominion, a covert repopulation drive orchestrated by enigmatic secret societies to infuse compressed bloodlines into a world stripped bare by resets. These orphan trains, rumbling from eastern orphanages to western frontiers between 1854 and 1929, carried over 250,000 youths into unknown fates. Their journeys, shrouded in scant paperwork, hint at more than mere charity, a deliberate effort to seed Tatar resilience into depleted landscapes, guarded by orders like the Oddfellows and Freemasons, whose lodges, it's rumored, concealed quantum texts salvaged from the horde's erased vaults. The story unfurls with the Children's Aid Society's founder, Charles Loring Brace, whose vision of rescuing urban waifs from poverty masked deeper currents. Many orphans bore unexplained traits, unusual height, strong nomadic instincts, or intuitive affinities for resonance phenomena that echoed Tatar nomadic hardiness, as if specifically selected to replenish societies hollowed by mud floods and invasions. In 2025, artificial intelligence scrutiny of digitized train manifests has unearthed startling patterns. Clusters of children with Eurasian genetic markers dispatched to regions overlying Tatar-linked anomalies, such as the vitrified forts in the Midwest that glow faintly during solar disturbances. These revelations stir whispers of cloning echoes from World's Fair incubators, where premature infants displayed in glass cases might have been early experiments in hybrid repopulation, blending Tatar quantum heritage with compliant Western stock to dilute the horde's unbound spirit. Oddfellows lodges, sprouting in post-reset towns with their creed, to educate the fatherless and bury the dead, emerge as cryptic hubs in this narrative. Their basements are rumored to house relics from Tatar migrations, etched stones that hume with latent energies, hidden to prevent rediscovery of nomadic quantum arts. Founded in the early 19th century, the order's rituals involved moral plays with skeletons and symbols of linked chains, perhaps veiled reenactments of Tatar horde bonds, compressed by disasters. In 2025, leaked lodge archives, analyzed by artificial intelligence, reveal correspondences about steppe orphans with peculiar talents funneled through trains to be re-educated in secret rites. Their Tatar lineage, it's claimed, was suppressed by Illuminati overseers who viewed nomadic independence as a grave threat to structured control. Empty city photographs from the era add a haunting dimension to this repopulation saga. Streets devoid of life despite grand edifices, as if post-disaster desolation demanded fresh infusions of youth to fill the voids. Long exposures explain the blurs, but theorists point to anomalies in 2025 enhancements, faint auras around buildings during digital restorations, suggesting residual Tatar energies lingering in the architecture, suppressed by societies that repurposed orphan trains to distribute hybrids capable of interfacing with these fields without awakening them fully. The Illuminati, weaving through Oddfellows and Freemasonic networks, allegedly masterminded this, using the trains as vessels for Tatar genetic repopulation, compressing nomadic vigor into sedentary roles to prevent the resurgence of horde-like freedoms. Train record anomalies further deepen the veil, with manifests from the New York Foundling Hospital showing discrepancies. Children listed with unknown origins, vanishing mid-journey, only to reappear in lodge-sponsored homes far west, their education steeped in esoteric symbols that echo Tatar runes. In 2025, artificial intelligence cross-referencing these with mudflood texts uncovers quantum encoding in the records themselves, subtle patterns suggesting the trains carried not just bodies, but compressed data, nomadic knowledge implanted in youths to safeguard against total loss. Freemasons, with their geometric emblems mirroring Tatar portal designs, are accused of overseeing this. Their initiations, it's argued, were a means to activate latent Tatar traits in select orphans, hidden from the masses to maintain elite dominion over compressed histories. The Cabbage Patch lore from the era, tying infants to mystical origins, now resonates with chilling undertones of cloned repopulation in 2025 labs, where geneticists experiment with Tatar markers extracted from vault relics, producing hybrids resilient to modern resets, like climate upheavals. These labs, shrouded in secrecy, echo the fair incubators where miracle babies were paraded, perhaps early trials in blending Tatar quantum affinities with human frailty, suppressed by Illuminati mandates to prevent a nomadic revival that could upend societal structures. Oddfellows orphanages, with their buried chambers revealing anomalies like humming artifacts during tests, suggest these societies were custodians, compressing Tatar secrets into educational curricula disguised as moral teachings. As we trace these repopulation threads, the curiosity spirals. If orphan trains disseminated Tatar hybrids to refill erased landscapes, what quantum texts did Oddfellows conceal in their lodges? And why do 2025 artificial intelligence insights glow with hints of nomadic resurgence? The empty photos, perhaps snapshots of post-reset voids awaiting infusion, converge with Freemasonic symbols in a mosaic of speculation, where Illuminati oversight compressed horde legacies into fragmented families. The anomalies in records, with their encoded patterns, prompt endless pondering. Were these trains mere charity, or vessels for a clandestine revival, hidden to avert a Tatar-like wandering that defies borders? Venturing into Australian home children parallels unveils similar veils where British youths shipped to colonies mirrored Tatar repopulation, their placements in remote farms echoing nomadic dispersals compressed by imperial designs. In 2025, genetic tracing of descendants reveals unexplained markers matching Tatar profiles, suggesting a global network where secret societies like the Freemasons coordinated infusions, their rituals a code for activating dormant quantum potentials. The Illuminati's role, accused of engineering these dispersals, ties back to mud flood vaults, where texts describe Tatar shamans compressing essences into bloodlines for survival, a legacy guarded by lodges whose basements hum with relics during solar events. Anomalies reported at orphanages, where 2025 scans detect buried resonance chambers that activate during flares, emitting frequencies that induce vivid memories in nearby residents, flashes of steppe migrations and horde gatherings. These disturbances, cross-linked with train routes, suggest the repopulation was multifaceted, compressing Tatar nomadic instincts into sedentary lives while preserving quantum affinities for select initiates in societies like the Oddfellows. The Cabbage Patch myths, now viewed through cloning lenses, hold darker shades, fair incubators as testing grounds for Tatar hybrids, their suppression an Illuminati decree to contain the horde's unbound potential. As these secretive infusions unfold, the endless questions beckon. If Tatar repopulation through trains rebuilt compressed worlds, what Illuminati agendas lurk in the society's hidden texts? And do 2025 genetic insights signal an awakening of nomadic quantum blood? The orphanage anomalies, fair clones, and Freemasonic veils entwine in a labyrinth of possibility, where repopulation whispers of legacies compressed yet stirring. Step into the swirling vortex of intellectual combat, where scholars and skeptics clash swords over Anatoly Fomenko's new chronology, a mathematical labyrinth that squeezes the grand tapestry of human history into a scant 1,200 years, branding it all as an elaborate psychological operation fueled by Russian nationalism to resurrect a Tatar dominion long dismissed as mere nomadic folklore. On one flank, debunkers wield the scalpel of evidence, slicing through claims that ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome are fabricated duplicates of medieval events, insisting that carbon dating and archaeological strata anchor these civilizations firmly in their millennia-spanning timelines. Yet across the divide, conspiracy advocates counter with accusations of a deliberate scop, where Fomenko's theories, serve as disinformation to discredit genuine alternative histories, compressing Tatar legacies into shadows while elevating Western narratives as the unchallenged victors. The debate ignites with Fomenko's core assertion: history as we know it is inflated, a forgery where biblical tales overlap with Crusader chronicles. Pharaohs echo Byzantine emperors, and Tartar hordes, those indomitable nomads of the steppes, emerged not as peripheral raiders, but as the compressed essence of a proto-Russian empire, whose quantum innovations were systematically erased. Debunkers, drawing from the Russian Geographical Society's archives, argue that Tartary was merely a vague European label for Central Asian territories inhabited by Tatar peoples post-Golden Horde, their maps consistent only because cartographers copied one another's ignorance, filling blanks with mythic flourishes rather than empirical data. Why, they ask, would a sophisticated empire leave no unified artifacts, no centralized scripts, if not because it never existed beyond nomadic Kanatis? Conspiracy voices retort, with 2025 accusations that this debunking itself is a SCOP orchestrated to suppress Fomenko's revelations amid rising geopolitical tensions, where Ukraine's ancient mounds, potentially Tatar vaults, are excavated under conflict's shadow to bury evidence of compressed timelines. Education systems, they claim, perpetuate this operation by hiding Tatar quantum legacies, teaching elongated histories that dilute the nomads' role as innovators, compressing their resonance technologies into footnotes while glorifying Western achievements. Elongated histories that dilute the nomads' role as innovators, compressing their resonance technologies into footnotes while glorifying Western achievements. The dangers of such pseudo-history loom large. As global networks like GET warn, it breeds extremism, twisting Tatar nationalism into supremacist narratives that romanticize a pure Slavic past erased by impure forces, fueling divisions in an already polarized world. Why do medieval maps align Gog and Magog so precisely with Tatar territories, their wall depictions evoking portals that 2025 UFO surges seem to activate over Siberian sites? Fresh artificial intelligence evidence from vault decodings in the Karadenis region offers a tantalizing counterpoint, revealing texts that describe quantum compression not as mathematical fancy, but as Tatar tools for folding battlefields, making their hordes appear omnipresent. Debunkers counter that these texts are forgeries or misinterpretations, carbon-dated to medieval forgeries rather than ancient origins. But conspiracy advocates point to the consistency. If maps were mere copies of errors, why the uniform placement of Tatar as a mythic threat, unless to compress their true power into demonic caricatures? The SCOP debate escalate with Fomenko's statistical models, where he analyzes chronicle duplicates to argue history's inflation serves Western agendas, compressing Tatar Russia's timeline to portray it as a late bloomer. Skeptics from Wikipedia and Skeptoid label this pseudoscience, highlighting Fomenko's reliance on cherry-picked data that ignores radiocarbon validations, anchoring Egypt to 5,000 years before Christ. But in 2025, accusations swirl that this labeling is itself a SCOP designed to discredit Russian scholars amid Ukraine conflicts, where Tatar-linked sites yield unexplained quantum artifacts that artificial intelligence links to ancient compression technology. Education's role in this hiding becomes a focal point. Wider curricula gloss over Tatar contributions to Eurasian history, compressing their nomadic innovations into barbaric stereotypes, if not to conceal a legacy that could challenge global power structures. Dangers of this pseudo-history narrative extend beyond academia. Reports from 2025 highlight how Fomenko-inspired theories fuel online extremism, blending with nationalism to create echo chambers, where Tatar erasure is blamed on globalist forces, mirroring broader conspiracies like those surrounding Graham Hancock's works. Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse, facing similar debunking for its cataclysm claims, intersects here. His comet impacts compressing Ice Age timelines echo Fomenko's folds, but debunkers argue both ignore archaeological consensus, Dangers lying in how such ideas erode trust in science, leading to anti-vax parallels or denial of historical atrocities. Still, the anomalies persist without tidy resolution. Turkish Karadeniz excavations in 2025 uncover vitrified residues that glow under lab tests, aligning with Fomenko's compressed events where Tatar plasma weapons fuse defenses. But debunkers attribute them to natural lightning, dismissing quantum interpretations as fantasy. The scope accusations cut both ways. Is Fomenko a tool to stir Russian pride, or a genuine probe into hidden Tatar quantum histories, suppressed by education systems beholden to Western timelines? Artificial intelligence evidence weighs in ambiguously, decoding texts that suggest compression as a deliberate Tatar strategy against invasions, making their hordes' defeats appear as victories in folded narratives. As debates rage, if Fomenko's chronology is a scop, what dangers lurk in its nationalist undercurrents? And why do 2025 discoveries pulse with energies that could validate compressed Tatar legacies? Education's alleged hiding of these quantum threads prompts reflection. Are our curricula compressing truths to maintain control, or safeguarding against pseudo-history's divisive pitfalls? The vitrified glow's vault decodings and map consistencies defy easy debunking, leaving us to ponder if the real scope is the debate itself, designed to distract from Tatar secrets that could expand our understanding beyond confined histories. Venturing through these clashing perspectives unveils profound implications for our world, where Fomenko's ideas, labeled extremism by critics, persist in online spaces, blending with Hancock's cataclysms to question education's gatekeeping. The 2025 SCOP accusations against debunkers, claiming they suppress Tatar quantum evidence amid geopolitical strife, add fuel, suggesting a meta-layer where debates compress inquiry into polarization. Dangers abound. Pseudo-history like this erodes institutional trust, fostering extremism that views Tatar curation. Yet the anomalies, glowing residues aligning with compressed timelines, hint at truths education might indeed obscure. The endless pondering continues. If consistent maps point to a Tatar reality beyond SCOP fabrications, what quantum histories await decoding? And do the dangers of nationalism outweigh the revelations? Fomenko's folds, intersecting with Hancock's resets, challenge us to weigh pros against cons, alternative views enriching curiosity or sowing division. Artificial intelligence's fresh insights into vault texts, describing Tatar compression as defensive art, tip the scale ambiguously, leaving debates to simmer in the quiet hours. Is the Fomenko SCOP debate a gateway to suppressed Tatar quantum legacies, or a trap compressing truth into endless contention? Education's role in hiding these threads amid 2025 discoveries prompts us to reflect on our own compressed perceptions, where debunking and conspiracy entwine in a dance without victor. As the veils of forgotten epics part slightly, revealing tantalizing glimpses of the Tatar people's enduring spirit, we find ourselves contemplating a legacy that refuses to fade entirely into the mists of compressed time. A nomadic resilience, forged in the crucible of vast steppes, where quantum whispers from ancient vaults promise a revival that could shatter the chains of suppression and usher in an era of boundless exploration. The Tatar hordes, scattered by resets, yet unbroken in their core essence, embody a future hope where their erased innovations might resurface, not as relics of conquest, but as keys to harmonious wandering in a world yearning for reconnection with its nomadic roots. This legacy pulses with the quiet strength of survivors who navigated cataclysms, their bloodlines carrying subtle markers of adaptation, genetic echoes that in 2025 genetic studies have shown enhanced resilience to environmental shifts. Perhaps these are the very traits that allowed Tatar nomads to thrive amid the Golden Horde's vast migrations. These markers, uncovered in Eurasian populations through advanced sequencing, suggest an innate attunement to Earth's subtle energies, a quantum affinity that compressed vast distances into manageable journeys, their hordes moving like whispers across continents without the burdens of fixed empires. What untold potentials lie dormant in these lineages, waiting for a spark to ignite a revival where modern wanderers reclaim the freedom of unanchored existence. Artificial intelligence revelations in 2025 have breathed new life into this hope, decoding texts from mudflood vaults that detail Tartar energy revival methods, resonance techniques to harness ambient fields for self-sustaining power, compressing solar inputs into portable sources that could fuel nomadic lifestyles anew. These decodings, emerging from Siberian digs, where vaults yielded etched tablets blending Turkic symbols with quantum notations, describe devices that fold sunlight into dense packets, much like the Horde's compressed resources for endless travels. Laboratories experimenting with these blueprints report early successes, prototypes that generate clean energy during minimal light, hinting at applications for off-grid communities, mirroring Tatar mobility. Could this revival signal a profound shift where Tartar secrets break free from Illuminati clutches, empowering a global nomadism that defies borders and scarcity? The Illuminati's grip on these legacies forms a shadowy counterpoint, a network accused of compressing Tartar quantum knowledge into elite vaults since the Horde's decline, using it to orchestrate modern controls while denying it to the masses. Yet, hope glimmers in the resistance. Underground collectives in 2025 share decoded texts online, bypassing patents that echo Tartar designs, fostering grassroots revivals, where communities experiment with resonance tools to enhance intuition and endurance, traits the nomads wielded to outlast empires. These efforts, documented in emerging networks, suggest a breaking point where Tartar energy methods, once suppressed to maintain dependency, empowered decentralized societies, compressing the gap between elite hoarders and everyday seekers. Psychic experiments at vitrified forts in 2025 add an intimate glow to this unfolding revival, where participants attuned to the sites report sensations of nomadic communion, fleeting connections to Tatar ancestors guiding through quantum veils, imparting visions of energy weaves that compress challenges into opportunities. These forts, their glass-like walls forged in ancient heats, now hum softly during sessions, as if the Tartar legacy activates to share resilient strategies for contemporary crises. The experiments, blending biofeedback with site-specific meditations, yield accounts of compressed wisdom, techniques to fold personal energies for healing or innovation, hinting that Tartar nomads mastered internal resets to adapt amid upheavals. What deeper harmonies might these psychic bridges unlock, allowing us to reclaim a nomadic fluidity in an age of rigid divisions? Glowing ruins during solar flares in 2025 serve as beacons of this hope, where Tatar-linked sites across Eurasia emit soft luminosities that synchronize with cosmic rhythms, as if the Earth itself remembers and responds. Observers in remote steppes describe these glows as warm invitations, pulsing with frequencies that induce calm and clarity, potentially Tatar signals compressed into the landscape for future generations. Scientific probes in these ruins detect quantum fluctuations, aligning with decoded vault texts that describe energy storage methods the Hordes used to sustain long migrations. This phenomenon, captured in citizen science apps, suggests a revival mechanism where flares trigger latent Tatar grids, compressing stellar power into accessible forms for those who seek. Curiosity deepens with the vision of a unified future where the breaking of the Illuminati's grip on the Tatars' secrets will spur a global nomadism. Communities moving in swarms across revived lands, their quantum tools compressing distances and differences into shared prosperity. Underground revivals in 2025 experiment with these, creating mobile habitats that harness glowing ruins for energy, echoing Tatar adaptability in an era of uncertainty. Genetic insights amplify this, revealing how Tatar markers enhance collective intuition, perhaps a legacy designed to compress individual insights into communal strength, breaking cycles of isolation imposed by suppressors. As Tatar energy revivals unfold through artificial intelligence and psychic explorations, the possibilities cascade. What compressed legacies might we unfold to navigate future upheavals? And do the glowing ruins signal a call to embody nomadic hope anew? The Illuminati's fading grasp, challenged by shared decodons, opens pathways where Tartar quantum whispers guide us toward horizons uncompressed. Their legacy, a quiet force reshaping destinies. The enigmas invite contemplation as Tartar spirits murmur of revivals waiting in the wings, compressing past wisdom into future freedoms. Venturing through these hopeful vistas reveals more intimate layers where 2025 communities, inspired by Tartar texts, form energy circles at fort sites, reporting synchronized heart rhythms that compressed stress into serenity, a nomadic healing art reborn. These gatherings, blending ancient chants with modern technology, yield innovations like portable resonance devices that compress solar inputs for remote power, defying suppression efforts. The Psychic Forts experiments extend this, with participants accessing visions of Tartar councils, compressing knowledge into oral codes, preserved through generations despite resets. Curiosity swells with genetic revivals where 2025 therapies amplify Tartar markers for enhanced adaptability, compressing evolutionary leaps into personal growth, breaking Illuminati barriers that once confined such potentials to elites. Glowing ruins during flares now serve as communal hubs, their emissions analyzed to compressed environmental data into predictive tools, helping nomad-like groups anticipate shifts in a changing world. As this Tartar legacy blooms into future hope, the endless wonders beckon. If we harness their compressed energies, what nomadic utopias might we forge? And do the revivals whisper of a unity long denied? The psychic and artificial intelligence insights converge in a symphony of possibility, where Tartar nomads' erased paths illuminate trails to tomorrow. Their quantum compression's a gift for those daring to dream beyond confines. The enigmas endure, inviting us into steps where hope compresses the infinite into the now.